Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are making delicious, soft and fluffy cinnamon rolls. Yes, if you like cinnamon rolls, this is the only recipe you will ever need. They are perfect for breakfast or brunch and they come out so soft and so delicious. You are going to love them. So let's get started on the cinnamon rolls. For this recipe, we are going to need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 1/4 cup of milk. I'm using 1/4 cup to dissolve my yeast, 1 egg, 1 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, a 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon sugar, and 1/4 cup of butter or margarine. I'm using ghee today, which I'm going to melt. First, we start by dissolving the yeast and the sugar in the milk. I warmed up the milk, and here is a word of caution: the milk should only be warm, not hot. Hot milk, it will kill your yeast. So I'm dissolving the yeast and the sugar. Give it a stir. Set it aside for about 5-7 minutes until it gets foamy. Meanwhile, while we wait for the yeast, I'm going to grease my pan. I'm using 9x13 pan with ghee. The yeast has foamed up and looks like this. You can see how fluffy, foamy it is. So I'm going to break the egg into it now. Oh, wow. These eggs have such a thin shell. I'm not used to them. I tend to break it into the whatever I'm doing. I have to be careful. I'm going to mix this in. And I'm going to add to the flour. I have here 2 cups. I reserve the rest. See how much it takes. And then I have the milk here that I warmed up, so it's just lukewarm, not hot, but lukewarm. And also the melted ghee I'm going to add to my bowl. I'm going to whisk everything together. Do this in a stand-up mixer with a hook attachment, but I'm doing it today by hand. I'm going to add the salt. I'm using Himalayan salt to remove my whisk. I'm sorry, I am apologizing for the noise. And now I'm going to knead by hand the remaining flour. And I have here a cup of flour, so that would make it 3 cups of flour. But we'll see how much it takes. Again, I always encourage bakers, and especially if you are not a seasoned baker, if you just started baking, to always start with, when you're making a dough, always start with less flour, because you can always add more flour, but you cannot remove it. So just a caution. And looks like it's gonna take all 3 cups of flour. And plus, flour differs. One flour has more gluten than other flour, so not all flour is the same. Almost there. So our dough is ready. Dough should be soft, smooth and elastic, and it should spring back when you push it down. So see, it springs back. That's what I'm looking for. So now I'm going to cover it and set it aside for until it doubles. It could take 45 minutes, it can take more than an hour. It depends how warm the kitchen is. So I'm going to cover it with a plastic wrap and then set it aside to rise. While the dough is resting, we are going to put together the filling. We are using 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. Add it to the bowl. Then we are adding 1 1/2 tablespoon of cinnamon, more or less depending on your taste. Give it a stir until the cinnamon and the sugar is well mixed together. We are also going to need half a cup of chopped pecans or walnuts. The dough has risen. It has doubled in size. Look at this, so fluffy. So now we are going to remove it to a flour board. If you are enjoying this cinnamon roll recipe, please hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe to my channel. And roll it out to about 9 inch by 13 inch. It's a very nice dough. Look at the bubbles. Such a nice dough. So this recipe is going to make 12 cinnamon rolls. Now if you want, you can double it. Just double everything to make 24. And that will be 2 pans. This is going to be 1 pan. If you double it, make 24, then you need 2 9 by 13 pans. I have here 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm going to brush first the melted butter. Okay, that's good. Now we are going to sprinkle the cinnamon and brown sugar. And just staying away about half an inch from the edge, from the upper edge. It will be easily to seal the dough once we roll it up. I think I'm gonna use my hand and just go all the way to the edge. I'm just gonna press it lightly, just to set it all in, just like that. Now we are going to start rolling it as tight as you can. And then we pinch together this edge here. To form a seal, just like that. Then we turn it over so the seal is under. And then we are going to divide it into 12. So here we have our prepared pan. I recommend using a sharp knife to do this. So unfortunately, I didn't notice the camera wasn't on, wasn't recording. I cut it into 14 pieces, so you can see I had 2 ends that are smaller. So in total 14 pieces. I apologize for my technical difficulties. I'm going to try to explain the next step what I did so you won't miss anything. So after I put them in the pan, I poured the whipped cream over and then I covered them with a plastic and set them aside to rise for 30 minutes. I'm going to leave the recipe in the description below. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment. After resting for 30 minutes, the cinnamon rolls have become fluffy and puffy, and now I'm going to sprinkle the tops with the chopped pecans. Make sure you stay with me all the way to the end as I have a bonus recipe for you. We are going to bake them in preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 175 Celsius for about 20 minutes or until they are golden brown. And here comes now my bonus recipe. I like to serve my cinnamon rolls with cream cheese frosting. And this frosting is so easy to make and it's so delicious. All you need is 4 ounces 120 grams of cream cheese, softened, 5 tablespoons of icing sugar, half a teaspoon vanilla extract, and then 5 or 6 tablespoons of 2% milk. I just mix everything together using a fork. It's very simple, it's easy, and I do this while my cinnamon rolls are baking, so once they are baked, I can enjoy them with my cream cheese frosting. Feel free to add more icing sugar if you prefer a sweeter frosting. Once the sugar and the cream cheese are mixed, then we slowly incorporate the milk, and you can put more or less depending how thin or thick you want the frosting. I prefer a thinner one. So just mix everything together. Very simple, very easy, and it's so delicious. The cinnamon rolls are ready, and I'm so anxious to try one. They are soft and fluffy with the cream cheese frosting. It's going to be totally delicious. Use as much frosting as your heart desires. I hope you liked today's recipe. Give it a try and let me know what you think. I am going to give this delicious cinnamon roll a try. So good. And the pecans on top. Absolutely delicious. You need to try this recipe. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.